Here's a story of a guy named John who models the Schuylkill River Valley. And together with a guy named Brian, they came up with something right up your alley. They made a website for model railroaders to share their layouts, ideas, and much more. They included Vinny, then Dale. Soon 2 guys became 4. But then one day, they had an idea. Brian said it would be really super duper. Uncle Wilmer, he'll do throwbacks, and Jerry will handle the bloopers. So now we have a real big family. John, Brian, Dale, Jerry, Wilmer, and the Cuz. And don't forget this ugly schmuck. We're still not sure what he does. Community Roundhouse, Community Roundhouse. Now it's time for another great episode. That sounded a lot better in the shower. Hi everyone, it's Mark from M&M Rails, and tonight the guys from Community Roundhouse have a great show for you. We are premiering 2 new segments. The first one's called Blast from the Past. It's hosted by Uncle Wilmer. He's going to take a look at some old YouTube videos from you that he wants to share with us and revisit. The other segment premiering tonight is called Measure Once, Cut Twice. And that's from our very own Jerry from his truck. And it's all about bloopers. And we have a lot of bloopers thanks to you. We have bloopers from BNSF 6951, from Humanity Junction, our very own Highballing Hogger, and our special guest, Rick Bailey. That's right, the guys sit down with Rick and talk to him about his layout and what's going on in his life. So without further ado, Vinny, John, Brian, take it away.
Welcome everybody. I'm John from the Schuylkill River Valley, and this is episode 6 of Community Roundhouse.
We're glad to have y'all here. This is Brian with the Iron Horse Route. Like John said, this is episode 6. We have a great episode for you today. We want to thank Mark for getting us started off great. We've got Wilmer's going to be here today. Jerry's going to be here today. Dale's going to be here today. Rick's going to be here today. Vinny's going to be here today. Am I forgetting anybody, John?
And we've got some layout photos from Layton Junction.
That's exactly right. And let's not forget, we want to thank all y'all for being here in chat. So you're all here today too. Thank y'all for showing up for the premiere. We appreciate you.
It wouldn't be the same without you guys.
It would not be the same without y'all guys. And look, this is what's going to launch us off, all right? We're going to start with a blast from the past. Wilmer's got a new segment. This is Uncle Wilmer's new segment on the Community Roundhouse, everybody. It's called Blast from the Past. John, what you think about it?
I think this is a great segment, Brian. Wilmer will be back each month to take a look at some videos and layouts from the past. And I can't think of anybody better to do that than Uncle Wilmer.
No, this is a fantastic person for the job. He's got a great job. He gets to look back a year or so behind us and find incredible videos that we don't want to forget, bring them to us, and bring them to us Uncle Wilmer style. Here we go right now with his very first blast from the past, and I'm certainly betting it's better than not bad.
Let's take a look.
Hey everybody, welcome to the new addition here to the Community Roundhouse. Mwah. And my segment is called Blast from the Past, and this will be the first one. And I thought about it a little bit, what we're going to do here. Kind of went with the guys' ideas of what they wanted from this blast from the past. Well, here's what I'm going to do. In this series, I'm going to take and feature a channel and give you a blast from their past. All right? And I think for my first one, I figured since he gave me such good luck in being my first shout out on Not Bad, I figured I would use him for the experimental model for this too. And that is Dave Thurber at Crooked River in Eastern. So I decided to use him first. And let's take it all the way back to the first video I could find in his series. And it was called Model train series, A Beginning, Crooked River and Eastern Railroad. Let's check it out.
Hey guys, this is the beginning. I don't know what I'm calling this railroad, but I'm getting this basement together. Sorry about the shakiness. It's a bad space. I unfortunately do have to share it with my son and his drum set and my wife's treadmill. And some of his drum stuff. And a pool table here somewhere underneath all that mess. It's not a bad sized room. I been out of the hobby about, I would say about 20 years almost. So I look forward to getting back into it. This old basement here is not too creepy, but it could use a little updating, so I'm throwing some paint on the ceiling.
And it wasn't long, his modeling skills started to show through. I suggest that if you haven't already subscribed to Dave at Crooked River and Eastern, you go over, check out his channel, go into his videos, check out, man, he's got a nice big list of videos that he's made over the years, and pick any one of them, they're awesome. And you'll find that I think he's not bad is right. So
All right, well, Brian, that was kind of a twofer. Not only did we get a look back at Not Bad, but we got a look back at Dave Thurber's Crooked River and Eastern layout.
I tell you what, that layout has progressed in a majorly fantastic way. Great work, Dave. You've made some incredible progress, and great work on your first episode, Wilmer. I tell you what, you did not disappoint. You never do. We knew you wouldn't. Thank you so much for being a part of the team.
All right, well, we got a few layout photos here from Layton Junction. He's got a really gorgeous Class 47 in 00 scale. And this photo shows it going across a bridge with a pretty nice under the bridge scene.
I tell you what, I love the under the bridge scene. The surfboards on top of the Volkswagen were incredible. Great idea. It looks fantastic. We appreciate you sending in the photos. Really good looking. Really look good.
All right, Al, thanks a lot. And I'm pretty sure I got that right. It is a Class 47. I think I've decoded your numbering scheme. If I'm wrong, somebody please point it out.
That's right. We appreciate you, Al. Thank you. And everybody, listen, we need layout photos. If you haven't sent us in any yet, please do so. Take some layout photos real quick of something going on your layout. Send them to us. There is a link below. It's the Community Roundhouse website. It's so simple and easy to get involved. Once you click on that page, you click one button, it takes you to your photos. You click them, and we got them. Send them to us, everybody.
and we'll be happy to feature them on an upcoming Community Roundhouse.
So, y'all, we're at episode 6, and one of the fan favorites have been the sightings. We've been spotting Roy and Jerry all over the place. So what we thought we would do, we thought we'd bring somebody in that would help us with all these sightings, help to organize them, to get them together. And we couldn't think of anybody better than who, John?
Then Dale PRR Guy Bass. Dale's the original Jerry sighter, and we couldn't think of anybody better to bring this segment to you.
That's right. Dale was the first person to spot Jerry, and it set off a lightning storm of sightings. So we thought we would bring in no better than the expert himself, Dale PRR Guy Bass, to help us with this. He's a new member to the team, too. Wow, we're busting at the seams over here. We almost like the Brady Bunch.
All right, so let's hear what Dale has to say about this new segment of his.
Hey Hoggers, this is the Highballing Hogger, Dale PRR Guy. Just wanted to let y'all know, send in those Jerry and Roy sighting videos and pics into Community Roundhouse. Come on guys, we want to see those pics and videos. See where all these guys end up at. See where we can see them at. See where all these guys get around to. So come on guys and gals, hoggers and piglets, send in them videos and them pics to the Community Roundhouse. We'd all enjoy to see them. I'm sure everybody else would enjoy seeing them also. So come on and send in those videos and pics. This is the Highballing Hogger. And keep highballing, hoggers.
We all know we all love Dale. We all know we all love Roy. We all know we all love Jerry. Let's help Dale find the two of them, get some videos, get some photos. Just like I said earlier, the description below for the Community Roundhouse webpage, shoot them to us. We'll send them to Dale. He'll do all the work from there and bring them to you next episode.
That's right. And thanks a lot, Dale. It's great to have you on the team. Another popular segment on the show has been bloopers. So we figured that we needed to rename this segment and find somebody to host it for us. So here let us introduce Jerry with Measure Once, Cut Twice.
That's right, John. We figured we needed to find a woodworker for the bloopers segment. We needed to find a woodworker who was a rail fan and a modeler, a sharp-looking guy, too. We're happy to have Jerry around for the bloopers, though.
That's right. Go ahead, Jerry. Take it away.
Welcome to Measure Once, Cut Twice, the Community Roundhouse bloopers section. Enjoy these videos. And yours truly, he just couldn't think. What's up, my YouTube friends? Hey, I hope you're doing well and had a good weekend. Oh, man. My weekend's going pretty good. Hey, a couple days ago, I got a email from one of our friends over there at the Community Roundhouse. Yeah, that's the name of it. Community Roundhouse. And it seems that they want me to be a part of their show. They want me to do the part... Man, are you really having this much of a hard time? And it looks like Uncle Wilmer's having a hard time finding his layout. Don't worry, Wilmer. I have days like that too.
And one last thing, I just wanted to show you. Let me get that out of the way. I don't want you to see that. I'm going to give you a quick view of my mess. I got a lot of stuff tore apart, and it don't look even near like my layout did look. But when I'm all done, I think it's going to look a lot better, a little less cluttered, and I think it'll be a little more functional for what I have to do. So here we go. Get you over here. Look at that mess. Yes, I have a train on it because I wanted to make sure my track worked. And I got wiring to do. This is the only section from, I don't know if you can see here. Oh, I did it again. There's one for Jerry's bloopers. I'll cut it out and send it to you, Jerry. Anyhow, let's go back here now. Here you can see my mess. Oh.
And something is hiding on the Cuzzin's layout. What could it be?
Oh, this is the part where I was having problems with the locomotive backing up. And you'll see why. I couldn't understand because I just used this piece of track and it ran fine. But I kind of had to coax it to get it to go. And once it comes out of the hole, you'll see why. See, I got to give it a little pushy push. And here comes the locomotives. But let's see what we picked up while we were in that hole. Oh no, we picked up a dead SD-78. No wonder why it was struggling to pull out. Look at that. As soon as I took it off, boom, it started to go. How funny.
Rick Bailey, I think somebody was trying to sneak into his video. I don't know.
With projects right now, I got to do track work. Well, I'm going to sneak another one in. So let me bring you down here to the workbench. I'm going to show you all the stuff that I got and see if you're curious to know what I'm building. Hang tight.
And Heath over there at Humanity Junction, he just couldn't get it together. Don't worry, buddy. We all have those days.
Welcome to Humanity Junction, where the city intersects with humans. In today's video, I want to give an introduction to my train route, which includes my... In today's video, I'd like to give an introduction to my... When everything is closed up, my storage and my chair live under the desk in the... My train area is built around my sit-stand desk. When in storage, I have the desk at its full height. My train area is built around my sit-stand desk. My train area is built around my sit-stand desk. When it's in storage, when it's not in use. My train area is built around my sit-stand desk. When it's not in use, I raise the desk up to When I work on my trains, I pull out everything from under the desk and then lower the desk down to... When I work on my trains or record a video, I remove everything from out from under the desk and lower... When I converted my office into my train area, I didn't really move things around, so in today's video, I want... For example, when this was primarily my office, it made a lot more sense to have this monitor in the vertical orientation. But now that I'm using it for recording, for example, when using it as an office, it made a lot more sense to have this monitor in the vertical orientation. But now that I'm using it for recording and for working on my model trains, I want to rotate that model. For example, Back when this was my main office, for example, when this was my office, it made a lot of sense to have this monitor vertical. But now that I'm using it for OBS and recording, I want to For example, when I was using this as my office, For example, when I was using it So I've got all the main items moved. For the next step, I'm going to So I now have everything basically where I want it, and for the next step, I'm going to remove all of the existing wiring and start. First, I'm going to explain the basic idea behind what I have set up. The main computer is behind me on my right. The computer on the left side of the desk will be my control. The computer on the left side of the desk will be my control computer. This is the computer that's hooked up to my I have two main. Thank you for watching. Please leave any comments or questions below, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe and select the bell icon to receive notifications. Thanks again, and have a great day.
And it looks like our very own Hogger, Dale, he's having a hard time trying to get the words out.
Good morning, Hoggers. It's Sunday morning trains and coffee. We got our coffee at Lulu's Trackside Diner. And we got us some... Damn, I can't talk.
I just want to thank each and every one of you for sending in your blooper videos. They make us smile and laugh. Keep them coming.
Thank you, Jerry. We're glad to have you as a part of the team. I think he's got the most fun part of the job here, but we're glad to have you, buddy.
That's right, Jerry. It's going to be a lot of fun having you with us. All right, maybe we should get our guest out here, Brian. What do you think?
That's right. I tell you what, we got a guy who's fairly new to modeling, but I tell you what, his plans are huge. His layout's growing. Tell us more about him, John.
Yep, we got Rick Bailey, and we actually got lucky because Rick's wife is very pregnant and expecting any day. But we managed to get him in and have a chat with him before she drove him off to the hospital.
And I tell you what, bar none, a super guy. Rick Bailey is a very nice guy, extremely fun to sit with, meet with, talk to, bounce ideas off of. I really enjoyed this interview, John.
Rick is a lot of fun. A few months ago, right before the showstopper, Jerry and I got together with Rick. We got together over lunch, and we had a great time. We must have sat and chatted for well over an hour.
And that's right, John. So we're going to bring Rick out right now, and everybody's own cousin Vinny comes in for the interview like always. Thank you, Vinny and Rick. Here we go.
How's Mama doing, Rick?
Mama's good. She is so ready. It's not even funny. We're down to 9 days until actually next Friday is the due date. But
I want to tell you something. It's going to happen next Tuesday. You know why it's going to happen next Tuesday?
Why is that?
Think about it. 6/9/51.
How's his birthday?
That would be so awesome. That would be so awesome.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you know what's the funny part about this one? Is 6/9/51 is my YouTube channel name, right?
Right.
It's also a BNSF locomotive number, right?
Right.
But this year, it also going to represent my age.
Oh, wow. Well, if it comes,
Yeah, right.
if she
69.
comes on 6'9", we're gonna have to change your name to Uncle Vinny.
No, Wilmer's got that title. Sorry.
That would be so awesome. So awesome.
Well,
Yeah, in fact,
when it comes to next Tuesday, just drive her down a bumpy road, right?
there you go.
So they haven't talked yet about how like doing induction or anything, and with the showstopper and all. I think they're trying to keep her out of the hospital and the doctor's offices as much as possible. So with our last two kids, we were able to plan it and do the induction, either the due date or close to. But I think this time we're actually going to have to wait until the bubble breaks and go from there.
Just go with it, man. Yep.
Yeah, it might be a pain in the butt, but we'll see how it goes. So,
well, this is what, your third?
This is our third, yes.
Okay.
All girls?
No. My oldest daughter, my oldest is a girl. My middle child is my son, and the new baby to come is also a girl.
Oh,
so
right.
Yeah, kids.
And you said the boy likes trains already?
Yeah, he does. He I don't think he quite gets the concept of it, but he loves watching Jerry's videos of the trains going, the big trains going around. He loves the sound of trains. He runs around. Every time I pick up my phone, he runs over and goes choo choo, and I know I'm not, whatever I was going to do doesn't matter. We're watching a train video at that point. So,
sure. Yeah. How old is he, Rick?
He will actually be 2 on Friday. So, if the new baby comes out next Friday, my middle son and my new daughter will share the same birthday.
Oh wow!
Oh, okay.
So,
wow.
And they will be 2 years apart. So,
and they'll be fighting every birthday from now on.
Yep, they sure will.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny because when I remember when we were first trying to plan for our first child, my wife said, "Well, when don't you want to have the kid?" And I said, "Well, I never liked December babies because I don't want the baby to fight for Christmas and birthday." And it seems like if you put it the birthday too close to Christmas, then you got a whole year to wait for more presents.
Right.
Well, my daughter was born 2 days after Christmas. So then for our second kid, she says, "Well, how about this one? When do you don't want this one?" I said, "Well, everybody else, your dad, your brother, you've got 2 cousins and a nephew, all their birthdays are in June. So let's stay out of June." This third one happened to be an accident, so I have no reason for that at all. Okay. But again, June baby. So yeah, if there comes a fourth, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to say, here's what I don't want, and I'm going to tell you to do that, and hopefully I get something different.
Yeah, right.
You tell me who you don't want to win the Super Bowl when they
I'm telling you, we might have a racket here. I'll tell you. Oh, jeez.
Are you getting much time on the layout?
I'm kind of in between projects. So, I'm sure you guys have seen it in some of my other video posts. I'm building this layout with a friend of mine, John. I think he made an appearance in one video. He's very camera shy. But the whole thing started as my layout, but now John has kind of taken it over, and it's his baby too. So he actually drew up our track plan. So it's just as much mine as is his. Unfortunately, it affects my wallet more. So I've kind of been holding off on doing any of the track work and finishing things until John can come back over, because I know he loves to work on it, and I love his company, and we go back and forth like the old married couple. If I ever do something and he's not around, I catch crap for it later, so I might as well just wait. So that's why you've seen a lot of my videos in the last few months have been small project videos. Like the last one was the camera that I plan to put.
Did you get them working?
I did. I got it working. Got some very good information from Tom's Trains and Things, and I think this whole power supply thing with the buck converters is going to be a great addition. So, yeah, that's all working. And then I had other little projects. I was building the push button panel and those kind of things that John's really not interested in. He's a very he's very much into track and building the layout, and we haven't done any scene work at all. So I think he'll be awesome when it comes to that. But when it comes to the other stuff like the panel and what I was doing with JMRI and the computer stuff, he's got no interest in that, which is fine because then I got my say in whatever happens, and he's got a little.
But you still need to get him into it. If he wants to be into the model railroading, he needs to get into all the aspects.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I explain as much possible as I can. He doesn't get some of the concepts, but he realizes that it works, and this is why, and he's great with that. So I can't.
Well, and that's what kind of happens too. You start out with the ones that are most comfortable to you, and then you bleed into the other ones. That's like soldering. I'm getting more and more comfortable with soldering every month.
Oh yeah, every chance you get. Yep, you do something different. Yep. So like so I guess it was maybe 4 years ago, I guess it was, that I got back into doing the model railroad, and it was it actually came up. When I was a kid, we always had a train layout around the Christmas tree. So the trains came out at Christmas time, and my dad had an O gauge that went around on the outside track and an HO on an inside track, and they were always cool to watch. And then years later, I now have those trains. They came to me, years later, and they've always been, sitting up in a box in my attic. And I was on one of those apps that you have on your phone to like buy and sell stuff. And I came across a guy who was local who was selling a bunch of train stuff. And I thought to myself, the price was reasonable. And I didn't know anything about trains other than you hook track together, you hook up some wires, and DC goes around. So I thought to myself, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I could, just a board, 4x8 sheet board in the basement and build something. So that's where I started. I got in contact with this guy. I bought the stuff he was selling, and I came down in the basement, put a piece of plywood on some sawhorses, and I got some trains to go around, and it was really cool. And then I got into watching stuff on YouTube. I forget what it was. Something either broke or I was looking to do. I forget what it was I was doing, but I went on YouTube and I started searching. And I found the community, and I found everybody's videos. And one thing led to another. And now I'm doing ballast. I never knew that ballast even existed. And all these different switches and all these different manufacturers that make all these different trains and track and all that. And it just snowballed from there, and here I am with a layout that's got to be 15 by 30 feet long, and my wife yells, but I'm like, no. And I admit I probably went too big too fast, and that's why it's taking so long to get everything running, but I had to steal the room before the wife did, So that's where I'm at now.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with it taking a long time to build. I mean, it's a hobby. It takes whatever time it takes.
Absolutely. So when I had the 4x8 sheet of plywood up, that's when I started talking to my friend John, and I was like, hey, look at this I'm doing in my basement, and I'm showing him pictures on my phone. And of course he wanted to come over and see it, and he had a whole bunch of ideas. And, we expanded from there, and we made like it was only, an oval track. And we made like a little yard from there, and we made a little area for the locomotives to sit. And then from there, it was like, I got all this room over in the next room. Just move some stuff around. And he started playing with Atlas has a track planning software that I guess was licensed to them from SCARM. I guess it's the original licensor or product. So he started playing around with that, and he developed the track plan, and we went back and forth for a while on what exactly we wanted. And so the design for the current layout is all John, and I love it. I think it's awesome, and we've got most of the track laid at this point, and we're just looking at the last part is trying to connect it together to get everything running. So that's kind of where we stopped.
Are you running trains on the part that is finished?
Yes, I can. And it's so funny because every time I come downstairs and I try to do something new, I always have to wind up cleaning my track first, and I'm like, what? My locomotives are stopping, and I'm like, I'm only trying to do this one little thing. Just run. And then I'm spending an hour cleaning the track to test whatever I need, and then it's like, okay, great. And I go upstairs 2 weeks later, got to clean the track again.
Wait till you get something as big as I have. And you gotta clean the track.
What do you use, Vin?
I start out with something similar to a Bright Boy. It doesn't have all the abrasive as a Bright Boy. It's more like an eraser.
Right.
It's yellow. It's about the same size as a Bright Boy. Then I'll go with alcohol and a makeup pad.
Okay.
And then I'll take my brass car and I'll run my brass car around with alcohol. 90% or better.
Nice.
So I had a friend of mine who came. I don't know if you guys know his Fish Plate Films. You guys ever watch his stuff? He's down in Australia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was here 5 years ago, I think, 2015. He was here. And he yelled at me for using 70% alcohol. He said, yeah, it's got 70% alcohol, but what do you think the other 30% is? Water.
Yep.
So he said, you're putting water on your track.
Right.
So he yelled at me, and I took the hint and went out and got the 90% alcohol. But yeah, then on top of that, I have the CRC 626, I believe it is.
Okay.
And what it does, it does not clean track. What it does is it enhances the electrical conductivity.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So what I do is maybe about every 3 or 4 feet, I'll squirt a little bit on the track,
Okay.
and then just let the cars take it around the layout.
Oh, okay.
All
It's
right.
cheap. Now you can get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, maybe even Walmart. Probably Walmart too. It's in a small can, about this big, 6 to 10 ounce, and it's got a tube on it, so you could be accurate where you want to spray it and stuff like that. But yeah, that was another thing Greg yelled at me. So you should get the 626 stuff too,
I've never used that. I've heard of people using it, but I've never tried it.
Yeah. In fact, I watched a video today that somebody said, yeah, they did the 626. They did the entire track. And I said, I think that's a little bit too much. You don't need to do that much.
Right.
Just, because the wheels will take, especially now that about 90% of my rolling stocks, it has metal wheels on it. So the metal wheels, help transfer it, throughout the layout.
Sure.
And you'll see this Saturday coming up, I have another video coming up. It's going to be a unit train run. And I swear, my layout definitely has a mind of its own. When I'm by myself, nobody would ever believe my stuff runs great.
Right.
But as soon as I get somebody over, it ain't gonna run.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So let me share my screen, and I'll show you guys the mock-up that I have in Atlas for what the track pan looks like. All right, so as you can see here, it's basically a 3 main track layout, and I've got this particular layout design. I've got it spread out in green, red, and blue. So you can see the red and the blue are basically a figure 8. They go around the track and then they come over across what's going to be this bridge. I haven't built this bridge yet, but they're in a figure 8 configuration. The green track goes all the way around the outside of the layout, and also this bridge in the middle here I have not built yet because everything else has been under construction. I wanted to leave those till last because God knows I'll come by or be working on the lower deck and I'll wind up bumping something or come up from the floor and there goes the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
So those are the only 2 things right now that are left that need to be constructed, and then I can run trains all over the place. I can right now without those do like point to point and run the track around until I get to those ends.
Right.
But that's about it for the top deck. This section right here that spurs off of that green line is actually going to be an auto reversing loop so that I can get trains coming back in to go down on this gray line. This gray line here is what goes into my helix that goes underneath the layout.
Okay.
And let me pull up that one. So, all right, this is an older representation. This oval here is what we originally started as a helix. But you can imagine the layout height comes in at 40, I think it's 46 inches high off the ground.
Okay.
So if you're standing in front of this and looking in this direction, and you've got 3 layers of helix, in order to get in there, you're basically crawling on your hands and knees to get there.
Sure.
So that got very tiresome very quick. So we cut the oval out, and this is basically a 36-inch helix. It's an 18-inch radius. It is sharp. I haven't been able to take much up there except maybe a locomotive and a couple cars. But my plan is I can always use my switcher or a locomotive to get it up through the helix, and then have a track up on the top deck that I can use as a staging or a drop off that I can build a train from that the other locomotives can pick up and then just run around.
Okay.
When we originally designed the layout, we wanted a big yard, obviously. So we've got 6 main tracks here coming off the yard. And then this here is also an auto reversing loop that comes back in. So trains will come in, they'll come around the loop. And then when the locomotive is facing this direction, we can back them into whichever track we want to drop them off.
Okay.
We're also going to have our layout was designed to run trains. I don't want to say that we didn't take in consideration of industry, but at the point when we were building it, it was, hey, we need to get trains going around and around. So we really didn't factor in industry at the time. And I'm sure that'll change. Every layout does. Every layout is modified. So I can see definitely myself doing that at some point. We did include 2 shoot-offs right here from the yard. This one over here is going to be another drop-off, so we could possibly just back trains up into here and drop them, and then pick up another one that's waiting on a staging track. This lane here is something that I included, which I wanted to use as my programming track. Okay. So that will be separate from the layout power. It'll run directly off of the programming track for my NCE system. And I'll have a double pole, double throw switch where I can, select whether, have a train run in there and then flip it to programming and back and forth. So this way I don't have to touch anything and we don't have to do the whole hand of God, coming in from above. So, so that's how it looks for now. And I know the top layout, it doesn't look like there's a lot of space to do stuff. But there is. I actually included another turnout over here where I plan to make another yard in this direction, because these 2 tracks here that are going across the bridge, they are 6 inch higher than these others. So I've got room to get under there, right, where I put in either another yard or maybe a town scene right here. And there's a whole bunch of just other empty space here that I can utilize. And I know John already has plans for buildings and whatnot. I have never built any structures, so I don't have any. I've never done any. Like when I was a kid, I didn't do building model planes or cars or any of that. So structures are going to be really cool to get started. I've never done any kind of painting or airbrushing, so I do have that planned, but there's going to be a big curve as to learning that, so I can't wait to get into that also.
There's always a lot to learn in this hobby, which is what makes it so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Now your bridge getting into your layout, is that going to be removable or is that going to be fixed?
That's a very good question. I believe it's going to be fixed. It by the time you walk up on it, that very first bridge that on that green track will be track height. So it'll be right there at 42 inches. So you'll have to duck under that one. The other one being 6 inches higher shouldn't be so bad. But I believe it's going to be fixed.
Well, you're a pretty tall guy, so 42 inches, that's a duck under for you.
Yeah, it is a duck under. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And John is right about my height also. So, I mean, I don't plan on having a lot of people down here in the basement. So,
that's what you say now.
Yeah, right.
This is true. This is true. My main concern right now will be when my kids get a little bit older, because they're not allowed in that room right now. So I'm worried about when they get a little bit older. Now my daughter is 5.5, and she likes seeing the trains, and she's allowed to peek from the doorway, but I don't let her in the room to touch anything, because she's just like me. She likes to put her hands on everything. And when I was a kid, my mom, God bless her soul, nicknamed me Touchy Feely, because I would literally take things apart and then not have a way of getting them back together. So everybody knew not to give me anything that was breakable. So yeah, the bridges will be fixed.
Rick, my daughter will be 5 soon, and she was almost 4 before she ever saw the train, for the exact same reason you mentioned. Now, she can run them now at almost 5.
Wow.
But, trust me, she has her own. We call it El Cheapo Loco, and she runs it around and stuff. But I didn't initially. I understand exactly what you're saying, because there's a point before they get too old, they can't even understand why you're telling them not to touch it.
Yes. Yes.
Sure, because to them it just looks like a toy.
Yeah. Exactly.
But they're excellent at painting like trees for like logs that are going on wood loads and stuff like that, because their attention to detail is exactly the right amount.
That's a good idea. Maybe I can keep her busy with that. Sure. Some background buildings, or that's a good idea, Brian.
It's one brush, one color. That's it with the paint, and you're straight.
Good point.
Yep.
Good point. Yeah.
Now, can you walk around the outside of your layout, or can only access it from inside?
Okay, so let me flash that screen back up here. So there is from the layout, the room. The room is actually this cutout that's here on the right hand side. This is actually where I'm sitting. My desk is here, and I'm probably sitting right about there. So it's directly right in the next room. Okay. To get there, there's a door that's right over here in this area, and you basically walk in, and you'll have this area here and in front to walk. On this side here is where my utilities are. So the hot water heater's there, the furnace is there. So you only have this 36 inches between here to actually walk down that aisle to see anything. Okay. And then up around this area in front, you probably have roughly maybe about another 36 inches. So it's really only that small L shape that you have.
Okay.
So again, it's not a lot of room for a lot of people to be in there, but it's just enough for maybe 2, possibly 3 people to stand comfortably.
Okay.
I would say.
You maximized your track space.
And that was the goal. Knowing that we were looking to basically run trains, that was the goal. Just put track everywhere and take up as much space as possible. as you can see, I can run. If I were to put 1 train per track on the top deck, I can run 3 trains at a time. And the way that I designed that switching area I can move trains in that auto reverse section to run them in whatever direction I want, and I can crisscross any track that I want. So I can literally take a train out of the helix, send it down the track in one direction, cross back over, and have it come around the other way. It'll take some finagling and a little time to get it back around to go on another track, but essentially I can run more than 3 trains as long as I'm careful of what's coming around the bend.
Yeah.
I don't need an Addams Family collision,
It sounds like the making for a great video right there.
And I'm pretty sure that's coming. It's coming. We got tunnels planned, and like I said, none of the scenery is done, so all that'll get filmed. I'll take you guys on the journey as we get there. So I have the NCE 5-amp system, so I could probably do 7 trains. There are a few of my trains that do have sound, so I'm not 100% sure how many I can run. But I think I could do 7 trains. They might not be long trains, but I think I could.
Yeah, we had, my father always set up a huge layout every Christmas. It was three decks tall. Oh yeah, it took up like the first level took up like 4.5 4x8 sheets of plywood.
Wow.
And it took up most of the living room, all of the attached sun porch.
Wow.
My mom was real understanding.
Yeah.
To put up with this every year.
Really?
And we ran a lot of night scenes, but we didn't have any of the buildings lit or anything, so it was just the trains.
Right.
Yeah,
which was still a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So John, y'all took that up and put it down?
Every year.
God.
He started November 1st. He had it up and running by Thanksgiving. And we would run it through January. My birthday's in January, so we would run it through January and then take it down at the end of January.
Now, when you say take it down, do you mean you like removed all of the track, or you guys just took like the boards out?
Removed all the track, pulled up all the boards. He had everything like slot A or tab A into slot B, and he had everything engineered like this.
It's all organized.
Yeah, right.
Well, it had to be.
Okay.
Organized? What's that?
We don't do that here. We don't do that.
Is that another aspect of this hobby?
It's not what I picked up, that's for sure.
Me neither.
Yeah, John is super close to being done. How's that coming?
Well, I've got all my track down. I still have to connect some of the drop feeders. I ran out of the suitcase connectors. So all the track's done. Once I get them connected, I'll actually be able to test it and start running some trains. I have manually pushed some cars around, and everything's going real smoothly at this point. But that could change when we get power to it. So
Yeah.
You'll have to let us know what done feels like, because I don't think any of us are getting there anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true.
I should have specified done with track.
Done with track, yeah.
Done with track, exactly. There you go.
On his current layout.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I won't be done ever, but
that's the goal.
Exactly.
Progress is the goal. Done will never come.
Right. Done's a bad thing, because then you have to tear it down and start again.
That's true. That's true. And there are a few modelers out there in the community where they're on, version 3, 4, 5.
Right.
So I don't know.
Well, this is my
I'm
second
not
line.
done until I have a house on my line in Colorado. I want a house on the line where I can watch my train go by. Okay. And then I'll do the layout there. And once I do the layout in there, then I might be done, because I'm not moving from there.
There you go. There you go. Sounds great.
Well, this is my second layout, but that's only because I moved.
Oh,
I wouldn't have torn the first one down if not for that.
I guess you could consider this my second layout. The first one was just a 4x8 sheet of plywood, but again, that wasn't the only thing I did with that is we started with the green felt paper that you get at the hobby store.
Yep.
And we did put track down. It was just the oval going around. We did wind up ballasting it, which was pretty cool. Learned how to do that. But then it was shortly after that we realized, we're getting a little bigger here and we need more room. And then we tore that up and started this. So I guess this is my second layout. If you want to, maybe the first one could just be considered a test run.
There we go.
Proof of concept.
Proof of concept. That's right. Well, at least the first one's always a learning experience.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
The second one probably is too. At least it is for me. So.
All right. So we talked about your layout. We talked about your speakers. How the speakers? I mean, the cameras. How's the cameras working? Are they working all right?
The cameras,
yeah.
I'm having a little trouble with the software that they connect to view them. I'm talking with Amcrest, the manufacturers of the cameras, but the actual view of the camera is pretty good. The cameras are 1080 HD. The quality of the picture is awesome. It's real crisp and clear. The zoom feature it's digital. So there's no lens in there that actually does the zoom for you. So it gets a little grainy as you try and zoom in.
Sure.
But the camera itself is what they call a P to Z camera. It does a pivot and tilt. So,
Okay.
for example, the one that I want to place underneath on the bottom deck, I'm going to put it on the corner of the layout where it'll pretty much have a view of the entire bottom deck, except for the left-hand corner, which I can then tell the camera to pivot and move and turn and look that way as a train goes by. Very much like you see at Horseshoe Curve, how they move the cameras around.
Right.
Something very similar. So I also have the ability to do night vision. So if I ever want to just turn the lights out, I can do that. The cool thing that I want to try is with I'm starting to do block detection on the layout, and I've got a whole bunch of block detectors that I need to get installed. And through JMRI, I can set the sensors up so they can show me where trains are and where they aren't on the layout. That, in conjunction with the cameras, I could basically sit here in my desk and just watch the computer screen and see the trains go around on the camera, and just be comfortable right here in my chair.
Right.
The other cool thing with JMRI is it has the ability to do the Wi-Fi throttles from your phone.
Right.
So if I wanted to, late at night, I could sit up in bed and watch the cameras on my phone and send trains around from my bed. And then
Is that going to be in between feeding and changing diapers?
I wasn't going to mention it, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Well, it was a pleasure to sit with all three of you guys twice.
Yeah.
Yes. I have that unique experience to be here twice.
That's right.
Hammer or not.
That's right.
Rick, thanks a lot. We appreciate you being here
Yeah,
tonight.
thank you so much.
Oh, it was my pleasure to be amongst you guys is a pleasure in itself. So I'm not complaining at all. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Before we get on with finishing the show up, I'd like to wish Vinny a happy belated birthday. For anybody who doesn't know, Vinny's 69th birthday was yesterday. So happy birthday, cuz.
That's right. Happy birthday, cuz. Thank you so much for being with us. Happy 69th birthday.
It's a shame we didn't have Wilmer here to sing happy birthday to you. Well, we'd like to thank Rick for coming in to have a chat with us this month.
That's exactly right, John. Thank you so much, Rick. We appreciate your time. Thanks to Mark. Thanks to Wilmer. Congratulations on your brand new Blast from the Past series. It was fantastic. Jerry's new Measure Once, Cut Twice. Great episode. Dale's new promo. Don't forget to send these guys stuff in. We've got the Community Roundhouse webpage link in the description below. Once you go there, you just click one button. It takes you to your photos. You send us your videos, your photos. That way these guys can feature you. Thank all you that showed up, stuck around with us, and hung out and chat with us. It's very important that y'all do that. We really appreciate y'all that are able to come do that. Thank you so much. If you're watching the replay, don't forget to leave us a comment. Thanks, guys.
And don't forget to hit that thumbs up. That really helps our videos get out there. All
So
right,
look for episode 7 on July 8th. Where's that at, John?
that's going to be over at Cousin Vinny's channel, BNSF 6951.
That's right before Sparky. Then we head over there. Thank y'all for coming in, joining us today. We will see y'all. Speaking of Sparky, let's go there now. See y'all then.
We'll see you over there.